Hey babes, and welcome to Gore&Gossip. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Nicole, and this is your weekly deep dive into all things terrifying, true crime cases, cold-blooded killers, and the occasional creepy conspiracy.
And since it's spooky season, we're turning up the chills with haunted legends, cursed objects, and the kind of stories that'll make you second-guess the shadows in your hallway.
From killers to cryptids, from bloodstains to ghost change, if it makes your skin crawl, we're talking about it.
So lock the doors, light a candle,
and let's get into it.
Guys, we're back.
We're
Sorry
back.
We had to take a break.
If you can't tell, by the way, we sound a little nasally. We both have some things going on. Jordan's sick. I have some sinus thing. Baby Bean is sick. We're all down right now.
We're all down bad. And so we decided that we needed a break. But we are back.
We're back and better than ever, baby.
Exactly. And today we're talking about a very spooky man.
I'm so excited.
We're talking about H.H. Holmes.
HHH. Yeah. Triple H for hell for him.
Literally. Yes. He's horrifying, and I am so fascinated by how insane he is.
Yeah.
The fact that he would take these women and bring him to his house of horrors, and most of them weren't even found. It's literally stupefying and terrifying.
This is one of those cases where obviously I've heard 1,000 times, but I don't know if it's my brain forgetting everything or every time I feel I just learned something else about this man that I didn't realize I knew, or just didn't realize he did, or something else. Every time I feel it's something a little bit deeper about him that I'm I don't want to know this about you. What the fuck did you do? You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, because I felt the same way researching him. I was like, I thought I knew everything about this man, but turns out I learned something new along the way. So hopefully you guys do too.
Yeah, he's a mystery. Not a mystery, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's his house, but him himself.
Yeah, definitely. So we're stepping into the fog of the 1890s Chicago, a place of promise, progress, and innovation. But lurking in the shadow of the glittering World's Fair was a man who was later be known as America's first serial killer. A charming doctor, a grand hotel, a city lit by the glow of progress. Behind it all, a man known as the Devil in the White City. His name, Herman Webster Mudgett, but history remembers him by the name of H.H. Holmes. Herman Mudgett was born in 1861 in New Hampshire. By all accounts, he was an intelligent child, but one with a cruel streak. Classmates claimed he was bullied, even forced into doctor's office where he had to confront a skeleton. And while most kids would be terrified, Holmes felt fascination. That moment has been retold so many times, it almost feels like an origin story, like the creation of a villain in a comic book. I seriously can picture it all, played out in a TV series.
Yeah.
Or that's the moment where the switch flips.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it Dexter? When they show when he was a kid or whatever, and you see the progression of how that's literally what it feels like when you listen to the story about him, because you can just see that what led up to him releasing his serious horrible inner demons. And of course his name is Herman, and he of course would not want to go by Herman.
Who would want to go by Herman?
I bet you he was made fun of and called Hermit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. He is a hermit.
He is a hermit, for sure. And even before he began those terrible murders, Holmes was a con artist. He scammed insurance companies, swindled employers, and even stole corpses from medical schools to collect life insurance payouts. And
gross.
That's disgusting.
Gross.
Ew. And that's the thing. He was building a career on fraud before he ever built the infamous murder castle. He'd take out insurance policies on fake people or even on workers who mysteriously died, and he'd cash in. And it worked for a while, but Holmes was always looking for a bigger opportunity. Holmes studied medicine and became a doctor, but he wasn't interested in healing. He was interested in money, manipulation, and ultimately murder. And of course, his finest opportunity began when he moved to Chicago. The city was a booming in the late 1880s because the 1893 World's Fair was on the horizon, a celebration that would bring in millions of visitors. And Holmes saw a way to turn that into his personal hunting ground. The World's Fair was celebrating 400 years since Columbus's arrival to the US. You know, that's what they
Boo.
believed. Boo. Um, and it was bigger than anything America had ever seen. So picture it. Gleaming white buildings, electric lights that dazzled visitors, because before this, candlelight was it. And the very first Ferris wheel was towering over the fairgrounds. Millions of people poured in from across the globe. It was progress on display, technology, architecture, culture, and right outside of all that optimism and innovation stood Holmes's castle. While people marveled at the future, a serial killer was hunting in their midst. And that's the chilling contrast. The fair represented the height of human achievement, while Holmes embodied the darkest human impulses. Two sides of the same coin, progress and destruction, both thriving in Chicago at the same time.
Have you ever like really looked into the World's Fair like back then? It's kind of creepy. I won't lie. Like, they had that's where like the NICU like baby thing was, and
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know, there's a lot of things that like are actually really creepy about like the World's Fair from like way back then, because like even though I like had all of this like innovation and progress, like it was kind of dark.
It was a lot of dark
Yeah,
things that they were
yeah,
experimenting with and trying to show the progress of what could happen. And truly, I think it is a little creepy as well because it was so like, I don't want to say like unregulated, but like what
it
they were.
was like there
Yeah,
was no regulations at this time. Like
true.
let's be so real. Like what regulations were in place were by today's standards like almost bullshit. Like there really wasn't much keeping people from like doing bad
Pretty,
things at the
pretty
same
bad
time.
things.
But it's also crazy because at the same time, like it brought out like some really great like progress. It's just creepy, in my
It is.
opinion.
I agree. I mean, that time period, I would like to be a fly on the wall during that just to see it. I don't know, but that's the morbid side of me where I'm like, I'd like to see that or
Yeah.
bring it back. But
Yeah. So like hold on, I gotta look this up now. I'm curious because I want to know when the last World's Fair happened. Now that we're like talking about it,
I know.
the last World's Fair. The last World's Fair, and I guess I should say in the US, 1984, and it was in Louisiana.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's like fairly recent.
yeah. I had to look it up because I remember my dad went as a kid one time when it was like in I think when it was in New York.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I think it was like in New York or something like that. And he went one time. That was when he saw the Carousel of Progress, actually. Yeah,
Oh,
and that like started my
nice.
dad's like fascination with Disney. But yeah,
Oh
I had to look
my
that
God.
up because I wanted to know when the last one was. That's pretty recent.
That is. It's only like what, 40 years ago?
Yeah,
For
something like that.
30, yeah, 35, 39.
It would be. It'd have to be like almost 40.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Let's bring it
Uh,
back, but regulated, please.
yeah, I saw something when I looked up World's Fair. I think the last one was or of the sort was in Dubai in 2020 or something like that.
Okay, let's go.
It
Interesting.
was 41 years ago. I just did the math.
Math is not good.
I know I am not good at math. I just had to do it real quick. I wanted to know.
And also, just like a preface, I'm so sorry if I mess up words this round. I have really bad brain fog, so we'll see how it goes.
It's okay. We'll give you a pass.
So Holmes knew how to use the fair to his advantage. Young women traveled alone to the city looking for adventure or even work, and hotels were scarce, boarding houses were full, and Holmes offered jobs, places to stay, and a charismatic smile. For many, it was the perfect trap. What's wild is that even in later retellings, like Eric Larson's The Devil in the White City, the fair and Holmes were almost inseparable, as if his story is the dark underbelly of the fair itself.
If you haven't checked out The Devil in the White City, please do. It's really good.
So good.
Yeah, it's really good.
So good.
It's very, very informative. It's really good.
And the way that it's told too, I listened to it on an audiobook.
Yeah.
Hooked. I was hooked. The White City and the Murder Castle. Two worlds just blocks apart. And from the outside of this elaborate castle, it looked like an ordinary 3-story building. But inside, it was a nightmare labyrinth. There were stairways that led to nowhere, hallways that stopped at brick walls, hidden passages, and this is the chilling part. Holmes designed rooms with gas lines so he could lock victims inside and asphyxiate them, as well as soundproof walls so no one could hear the screams and the atrocities happening inside. So he was taking every step to make sure that no one found out about what he was doing. Terrifying, man.
Disgusting. That's so creepy.
Like, that truly.
It's literally like my worst nightmare. Like I do not like haunted houses. And I feel like this is my fear of like why. Like I don't like haunted houses.
Like you go into a haunted house, like thinking it will just be like a fun little scare.
No,
you're trapped forever.
Yeah,
There's several movies about that.
Yeah, I know.
Some
no thanks.
Like, others.
Yeah. No thanks.
Even the basement was hiding evil. Holmes had chutes where he could slide bodies straight down into his laboratory, and down there he kept acid vats, quicklime pits, and even had a crematorium.
Isn't it crazy how this is all out of one man's teeny tiny little brain? This is all, he came up with this all. Like, that's how fucked this guy was.
He is so fucked.
That he, like, thought of everything that he could possibly think of at that time.
Like, literally gives me chills. I am sick, but, like, I genuinely have chills reading this. Because why do you think like that? Like,
exactly.
I need to have all of these options in case the lime doesn't work, in case the acid doesn't work. Like, I need to have, like, plan A, B, C. Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah, that's, like, it's so well, I don't even want to say that it was well thought out, because, like, to a degree it wasn't, but, like, it's the fact that, like, he just kept having thoughts about it and kept adding is, like, what scares the shit out of me the most.
Like, I don't even know how to describe how viscerally, like, terrifying that is. Because there's all these different rooms that each have a different purpose to kill someone in a different way. Like, it's Saw on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Anyways, ending my preaching there. It's like something out of a horror movie, except it was completely real. And here's the creepiest part. The castle wasn't built all at once. Holmes kept changing contractors, firing workers, and bringing in new crews. That way, no one person ever knew the layout. Which meant no one could really piece together what he was building. To most people, it just looked like a hotel preparing for the World's Fair.
Yeah, there was no like one complete blueprint for this
Mm-mm.
place.
No, because could be like way 1 month, and then he brings in a whole nother crew, and then it
Redoes
changes.
it or changes it or adds things. It's like the Winchester House on steroids. It's like what people think the Winchester House really is.
Right, exactly. And Holmes advertised the building as a hotel for fairgoers, but many who checked in never checked out. But once inside the castle, they became prey. Bones and partial skeletons were found, though Holmes was careful to sell bodies to medical schools, profiting from death.
It's the fact that he sold the bodies to medical. How were they not questioning this? Is my thing. Where did you think he was getting them from?
Like, that
It,
terrifies me too.
like he just used the fact that he was a doctor and probably was like, here, from a morgue, buy them.
Buy them, take them.
What? How do you just like not question that?
No fact checks on like death certificates. No, like there's nothing there to
No.
follow where this body came from.
Yeah. And it's so much easier back then to like kind of fake that shit.
Totally. Absolutely. And Holmes's victims were often young women. Many of them came to Chicago seeking the work or adventure. And he was a charming man, too. So he would charm them, offer them jobs, and sometimes promised romance. Being like, hey, come
Nah,
over. I love you.
gross. I
They,
did look him up. I had to look up a picture of him because I
mm,
couldn't remember what he looked like. And yuck, but I can understand why women found him attractive at the time.
I mean, at the time, sure.
I can understand a little bit.
Sure. A
But
nice
I
little
still think he looks
mustachioed
gross.
man.
Yeah, it's not.
He still
No
kind of looks
thanks.
sickly,
Yeah.
like a little bit,
Yeah.
but that's just me. I felt like he was a little too sickly looking, but
Yeah, I'm not for me, but I can understand why some women found him attractive back then. Still yuck.
still yuck. They trusted him, and those victims disappeared. Holmes didn't even leave behind clear lists of victims. In fact, much of what we know comes from later investigations, confessions, and missing person reports. But a few cases stand out. Women and children whose stories revealed just how calculated and cruel Holmes could be. So let's begin December 24th, 1891, in Chicago, Illinois. Julia Smythe was the wife of a man who worked for Holmes, but she became Holmes's lover while she and her young daughter, Pearl, lived in the castle. Julia and Holmes had a complicated relationship, but when she became pregnant, Holmes told her he'd perform an abortion himself. Trust no man.
No. Yeah. Never.
Never trust a man.
No.
Choose the bear instead. On
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, 1891, neighbors reported Julia and Pearl suddenly vanished. Holmes later claimed Julia had died during a botched abortion he performed. So he admitted that she died during this abortion. But evidence suggests something darker, that both Julia and 6-year-old Pearl were murdered, likely by chloroform. Their bodies were never officially recovered, but investigators later testified they found bones of a child in the castle's furnace.
Disgusting. Literally killed an innocent child.
It is just horrifying because there's nothing to gain from this.
Yeah, you killed her
She
what
was your
because she got
lover.
pregnant?
Like,
And you didn't want to deal with that?
send her away. There are hospitals for that.
Yeah.
Like,
And what did her husband just like leave at this point too?
Yeah, he was like gone.
Yeah.
So after the work was done, he left because he found out about the affair and was like,
Yeah.
okay, goodbye. And there wasn't much on that, but it's just so horrifying because
No,
like,
it is.
your daughter and your
Yeah, and you just like left your daughter with with her mother, which like okay, I understand. Like you left your daughter with her mother, but like you just completely like left them all together. Like you didn't try to go back for your daughter at all, dude.
like
What the
that's
heck?
wild to me.
Yeah,
That's
you're just like, okay, peace, he's your new dad. It's like that. What? You're her dad. why didn't you do something?
It may be like just like the times maybe.
It is.
I
It
don't
is.
know.
But still, like, I have a hard time understanding that, you know?
I do too. It's okay. And another victim was Emmeline Seagrand. She left her family in Indiana to go and work for Holmes, who promised her opportunity and also hinted at marriage in December of 1892, 1 year after he killed Julia. Witnesses said Emmeline seemed smitten. A colleague recalled she said she was engaged to Holmes and was to be married soon. Witnesses later said they saw her entering Holmes's office and never coming back out. But within weeks, she was gone. Later accounts suggest Holmes locked her in his vault, an airtight soundproof chamber with a gas line. A skeleton was found in the basement and was believed to be hers, though it was never definitively proven. Which is so sad because,
Yeah.
like, there is no forensics back then.
Yep. It's kind of sad how often this happened, like, just in this case alone, of, like, they just, like, had to piece things together because, of course, he was a piece of shit and wouldn't tell anybody anything.
Mm-hmm. It's just,
So,
it's so fucked. I mean, like, if you're
yeah.
going to take away a life, at least admit to those names and at least give that family some.
No, but they gotta fuck with you more somehow, right?
Right, exactly. Then came Minnie and Nanny Williams, sisters from Texas. Minnie inherited a small fortune, and Holmes targeted her right away. He convinced Minnie to sign over her property to him, and soon after, Nanny came to visit. In July 1893, during the World's Fair, both sisters vanished. They were seen entering the castle together, and neither was seen alive ever again.
So people saw them go in and never come out, and you just don't say anything. Got it.
Don't say anything. Just
Don't say
don't
anything.
mention it.
Yeah.
Holmes later claimed that Minnie killed Nanny in a jealous rage, but there's no evidence of that. What's far more likely is that Holmes murdered them both, probably within the castle. Their likely fate, suffocation, followed by disposal in the basement furnaces. Which is so sad.
Yeah, that's gross.
You don't even get to like bury your family members
Yep.
either. And then comes the Peitzel family, perhaps the most tragic of Holmes's crimes. Benjamin Peitzel was Holmes's associate in insurance fraud schemes, and in September of 1894, Holmes killed him in Philadelphia, making it look like an accident with an explosion so he could collect that insurance money.
Of course.
Then, on September 2nd, in 1894, police discovered Peitzel's body in a rented office in Philadelphia. His face was disfigured by fire. A coroner later testified that chloroform had been administered after death, suggesting Holmes staged the scene to look like an accident, which is wild.
He was already dead, so why did you need to put chloroform?
Like, there's no point in doing that. Holmes collected the insurance money, but what makes this so haunting is what happened next. Holmes took custody of Peitzel's 3 children, Alice, an 11-year-old, Nellie, also 11 years old, and Howard, 8 years old, telling their mother he was looking after them. He moved the children city to city, weaving lies about their father's fate. Eventually, Alice and Nellie were found dead in a Toronto house.
I hate this so much.
I hate it too. I hate it so much. According to a Toronto police report in 1895, 2 trunks were recovered. Inside were the bodies of Alice and Nellie. Cause of death, suffocation by gas. I'm sorry, I'm like literally like getting chills just thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. It's the fact that, like, I don't know. That's the one thing that I know. I don't think we've ever heard anybody like has any information on was like their mom and like what made her be like, yeah, okay, just take my children. You'll look after them. That's fine. Like, what possessed her to allow that, and like how it became like an okay thing. Like, I, as a mom, Like, I could never just look at this random person who, like, he's not exactly random, but, like, to them, but, like, I guess. But, like, to me, I'd be like, no, you're not. Like, I'm still here. Like, you're not taking my children. If
Right.
you want to help with them and take care of them, you can give me money. But it was to, like, avoid what happened to their dad, and then just be a torturing son of a bitch. Like,
Right, because that's what he is.
just more innocent people
Mhm.
that he can, like, torture and do what he wants with.
Yeah, seriously.
Easy targets. Like, disgusting.
I mean, even if Holmes was like a business associate of your husband, why would you grant him the custody
Exactly.
over these
The,
kids?
a
Yes,
business associate.
you're grieving, but like you knew he was doing insurance fraud with your husband. Why would you even?
So you're okay with him taking your kids? Like,
Like,
no.
I
I
know.
just can't. I can't understand that. As a
It,
mom, I cannot understand
I
that.
can't either, and it hurts my heart. Literally,
Yeah.
like I'm about to tear up. Like,
Yeah, like, I don't know, obviously don't know what her situation was, and, like, letting and, like, believing him, and obviously, like we've said, like, he was charming and, like, had his ways, so I'm sure he probably charmed her enough to make her believe that, he was going to take good care of them,
mhm.
and that she could, take care of herself and do what she needed to do. I couldn't just let somebody just take my kids like that. And again, like, different times, different circumstances, people feel how they need to feel, but I just can't.
I can't either. And the saddest part was that the youngest child, Howard, his remains were found in Indianapolis. Investigators discovered charred bone fragments and teeth in the chimney of a house that Holmes had rented.
I don't even want to think about no,
No,
about how that happened, because, like, no, I can't even I don't want any other details other than that. You know what I mean?
right?
Like, I can't even. That's so
I can't fathom
horrifying.
any of the other
No.
details because it's so horrifying.
Yep.
Like Holmes had no reason to kill these children. They were innocent, trusting, and completely dependent on him, and still, he ended their lives. Maybe just to prevent witnesses, maybe because cruelty was second nature to him. And
Second nature.
first nature, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And the murders of the Peitzel children were what finally exposed Holmes. These weren't anonymous victims who slipped into the shadows. They were a family with names, faces, and a grieving mother who wanted answers.
Yeah.
And there were likely many more victims, hotel guests who checked in that never checked out, women lured with promises of jobs, and men caught in his insurance scams. Holmes eventually confessed to 27 murders, but researchers suggest the number is closer to 200.
That's a crazy amount. That's a crazy number
Like,
for
just sit
one
on that.
person. Yeah. That's a 200 is what they think he could be connected to. 27 is what he confessed to, which is already a staggering number. Staggering. That's insane that he was able to do that. But the fact that people think that he might even be close to 200 is insanity. Insanity. And because you have no idea how long he was doing it for.
That's the thing. No idea. And
Especially when you consider that he was committing insurance fraud prior to this. So, like, what was he doing prior to the murder house with his insurance fraud? He was probably killing people then too. Like,
exactly. And taking their insurance claims.
yeah.
I can't fathom that at all. I would be horrified, like finding out that there was a serial killer during this incredible, momentous event that was bringing from people from all over the world to Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. And it puts such a shroud on it as well.
It really
Like,
does.
so, like, we already discussed, like, how creepy it was. Like, this was just, like, another layer of, like, creepiness that is added to the World's Fair. Something that was supposed to be, like, basically happy and monumental, and like what we would now look at it and be like, that's a little creepy because of the times and like the things that they did, now add like, a murder lurking in the shadows and like with a creepy, mysterious house that people go in and never come out of.
Seriously. And in 1895, the Chicago Tribune news article described the time, stating, "One cannot walk the streets without hearing tales of boarders gone missing from Holmes's hotel. Mothers weep for daughters who sought work at the fair who never returned." Like, and some of them never even got named or even found. And I mean,
Yeah.
who knows what was actually inside of those vats, inside of those furnaces that he had.
Well, and that's the thing. So, like, the acid vats, like, that's what I meant by, like, how crazy it is that he thought that deep. So, like, if anybody has, like, seen other stories, like, other cases or whatever, like, these acid vats basically that he's, like, using are, like, melting away everything, basically. And he would just, like, let that happen. Like, he would just like they would go in these vats because like he would do whatever he was, and then this is like one way that he would dispose of the body, is that like he would put them in the vats and like it would basically just melt away everything.
Mm-mm-mm. And historians caution, though, that Holmes was a liar who loved attention. Some of his confessions were pure fabrication, but even if only half the claims are true, the castle was a slaughterhouse disguised as a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And the victims' stories remind us that Holmes wasn't just a con man or an infamous name in a textbook. He was a predator. And these were real people, women, children who trusted him, believed in his charm, and who never had the chance to leave the castle alive. And when we talk about the so-called genius of the castle or the castle of horrors, we have to pause and remember the victims' names, their dates, their families, because without them, the story risks becoming legend instead of tragedy.
Absolutely. He is a very, very sick man, and that's why I said earlier when I said it, his well thought out horror house, it's not necessarily well thought out. To him, it was well thought out, but you can't give him that credit. He did this in a way that was thought after thought after thought, and that's it. Like, if to him, he was a genius. To him, this was a grand idea. In reality, this is absolutely disgusting. Like, we talked earlier about him having like an origin story and being a villain. Like, he literally is a real life villain.
Mm-hmm. It was disgusting. And he continued to play psychological games, spinning lies until people couldn't see through his web. And his downfall started not with murder, but with money, because he was arrested in 1894 for insurance fraud. But investigators soon connected him to disappearances, including the Pitzel children.
They always have a downfall. This is why they always think that they're so fucking smart, but they always have a downfall. And it's because he kept committing insurance fraud, and that's gonna catch up to you. Even then, even during then, we have so many stories of like insurance fraud, like being caught during this time. Like, they're
Seriously.
gonna catch you.
Mm-hmm. They're going to catch you eventually. And guess what? You're going to undo all of that hard work that
Yeah.
you did to
Yeah.
make sure that no one found you.
Yep.
And his trial became a sensation. Newspapers called him the monster of 63rd Street, and witness after witness described strange disappearances, suspicious behavior, and of course, the eerie castle. Holmes eventually confessed to 27 murders, but historians believe that the number is higher. And of course, Holmes was a liar. He exaggerated, he minimized, and he changed his story constantly. So we may never know the true count. What we do know is that in 1896, Holmes was executed by hanging. And fittingly, the execution didn't go cleanly. His
Ooh.
his neck didn't break instantly. He slowly was strangled for 20 minutes. And after Holmes's
Ew.
execution, I
That's
think about
gruesome.
that. Like
Yeah,
20
so
minutes.
I have to say that I'm in one of those people that's like in a gray area about like capital punishment, essentially. I don't know necessarily like how I feel about it one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
At
because
that point, I mean, at that
mm,
point, 20 minutes just struggling,
that's really
just put
gruesome,
him
and
out.
like that's
It's
yeah,
very
that's see, that's where it becomes like very inhumane. Is that
Mm-hmm.
like that was way too long, in my opinion. You should have just like put him out of his misery once you tried to like once he's executed. Like, what's the point?
Like, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a gray area for me.
It's great for me too because it's like eye for an eye, but then at the same time, wouldn't you want them to think about all of those murders and think about
Yeah,
what they
wouldn't you
did?
rather them sit and rot in prison for the rest of their life
Yeah,
and have that sort of a torture instead? Although some of them don't see it as torture, and I totally understand that. So
yeah, yeah, exactly. And after Holmes's execution, the story didn't die. If anything, it grew larger. Newspapers sensationalized it, writers embellished it, and over the decades, Holmes became less a man and more of a legend. Today, luckily, Holmes's murder castle is gone. The building was destroyed in the 1930s, and a post office stands on the site, but the legend remains.
isn't that crazy that a post office is there now?
I don't know
Of
if
all
I would
things.
want that. How
Yeah.
about you just leave it barren? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I couldn't imagine working there and how haunted that must feel. Mm.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
there are rumors that the site is haunted.
Yeah, see, exactly. I could imagine. I don't
That
know.
people working in the post office feel a heaviness in the air. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, it's undeniable that Holmes left a psychic scar on Chicago. I mean, like, I don't know if I would want to work there. Like, personally, to
No.
me, like,
Maybe like walk in there, feel the vibe, and
feel it
walk out.
out and walk
Yeah, no
out.
thanks.
I don't know.
Bye.
I don't know if I like that.
No, I don't love that.
He's been called America's first serial killer, though technically there were others before him.
Yes.
But Holmes had something they didn't. The mystique of that castle with vats, rooms that were locked, stairwells
Yes.
that led to nowhere.
Yeah.
It was literally a house of horrors, like something out of a horror novel. And pop culture couldn't resist. He inspired pulp novels in the 1900s, TV documentaries, and even horror films. But probably the most famous is Eric Larson's The Devil in the White City, a book that intertwines Holmes's story with the World's Fair. And
Yeah.
that book turned Holmes into a cultural icon. It's been adapted into stage productions, TV documentaries, and for years, Hollywood teased a movie or series with Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese attached to it.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's really, if you haven't checked it out before, definitely check it out. It's really, really great.
I think it's really well done.
Yeah.
And just like think about how Holmes shaped the way we imagined evil geniuses. His
Yeah.
murder castle feels like a blueprint for haunted house stories, slasher
See?
films,
See? See?
right? Even Batman
Yeah.
villains.
Oh, absolutely.
That's where my mind went.
Yeah.
He's like the prototype of the charming, intelligent, sadistic killer who plans everything.
Yep.
But it's important to remember a lot of Holmes's story is entangled in myth. Some say his kill count was exaggerated or that the castle wasn't quite as elaborate as later retellings made it. But still, even if half of the legends are true, the fact remains Holmes turned a house into a machine for murder.
Exactly. At the end of the day, like he still used like a house or hotel, whatever you want to call it, like to murder people. So even if it wasn't as elaborate, maybe if there wasn't acid vats or whatever,
Mm.
like he still used that place to kill people. And like he still killed an innocent woman and like innocent women and children there. Like he killed an innocent man. He killed an innocent man's children.
Mm-hmm.
Like he still did these things and it's still horrible.
Right. And that's why like he is still such like I don't want to say like he's still such like a figurehead of true
Yeah.
crime and
Yeah.
of the horror genre. he like blurred the line between fact and fiction, and that's maybe why we're still talking about him 130 years later.
Oh, definitely.
Because Holmes himself even wrote, I was born with the devil in me. And whether he believed
Sure.
that or just wanted the world to believe it, it's still chilling. What he did is so chilling. And he wasn't a supernatural monster. He was human. And that's the scariest part to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talk about this man like he's legend, right? Like we said. And like at the end of the day, he was just a sick and twisted, fucked up little man. Like that's what he is. We're not going to make him this larger than life person. He was a little sick, messed up man with a small puny brain who only wanted insurance money and to hurt people. And that's it. That's what he was. He was not an evil genius. He was not this some brilliant all being, dark villain that you could kind of look to or whatever with this crazy origin story. No, he was a human man that was sick and twisted and fucked up. And that's all he wanted was money and to hurt people.
Exactly. And I mean, I think he knew that what he was doing was going to gain that attention and that
Right.
sensationalization that happens so often with so many serial killers, especially in our culture, which is disgusting to me. So who knows how much his story is fact and how much is legend. We may never know. But the devil in the White City still looms large in American crime history. And for me, I just hope that you take away that he's a despicable person. And I'm not
absolutely
wanting to like exploit what he did at all. Like,
yeah.
I hope you can tell that like,
yeah, like we always said, we're going to talk, we're going to, we're going to gossip about them because of course, but like at the end of the day, y'all know that the victims are the most important part of this. Always.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, guys. And whether it's crime, conspiracy, or straight up spooky, we're going to keep talking about it. Like, follow, comment, and stay tuned for new episodes each week, twice a week.
You might even get a third one week because we missed one.
Exactly, and we're going to make it up to you. It's just going to keep getting dark and spookier from here. So stay nosy and stay spooky, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.